Welcome, everybody, to the Live Life Aware podcast, where we are going to be talking and diving deep into health, wellness, communication, mindset. This is our first episode. So welcome, everybody. My name is John Adams, and we have a very exciting show for you today. Listen, we're going to be talking about mindset change. We have a guest speaker today, a really awesome one.
Yes, we do.
And, so Live Life Aware podcast is not just some phrase we say, but it's an unshakable mindset. It's a way of life. So we all have our ups and downs. We all have our, we get off the path sometimes. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do is kind of bring this podcast to you to help you understand how to get back on that path a lot faster. Because we're all going to go through those things. So that's why this podcast is going to start to exist. We're going to bring you awareness throughout the community, around the world, about what's going on, about your environment that you live in, the way your body. We're going to topics like biohacking, medical marijuana, hot topics like that. The questions you have, we'll bring in guest experts. So, guys, come into the livelifeawarepodcast.com, ask questions, subscribe, listen to it. We are here and brought to you by the Space Coast podcast in the paper clinic with our expert here, Jesse Hall. Thank you so much for being able to give us this platform to share this information out there.
Of course, John. Of course. It's great to have you guys in the studio. This when you first mentioned Live Life Aware, what it was going to be, and all the different topics, I knew it was going to be a hit. Yeah. And with you and what you've done at the Fix Therapy, with your clientele and all the good testimonies that are coming from that clinic, it's been powerful. And I think with your impact in the community and all the knowledge you have to share and bestow upon all of us, I think it's going to be what the community has been waiting for. So thank you for actually getting out here.
Oh man, it's exciting. It is a change. This is the first time we've ever been in the studio to do this, besides our little one-on-one coaching here. Mm-hmm. We're really, really happy to be on this platform.
Yeah, like I've mentioned before, and to a lot of other business owners, you could repeat the same things over and over again, right? Every client is, unique in their own way, but your knowledge doesn't change.
Right.
So why not share the knowledge, put it on an audio file that people can listen to on demand,
right.
And that way you don't have to kind of repeat yourself over and over again. You want to talk about, different things, like, all the different topics that we're going to discover with you. Now you just say, hey, go listen to a show. Right. Episode 3, I went really deep into that. Right. And I had an expert witness and,
right.
And all these other people. So it really allows for you to kind of catalog all this knowledge, and put it in a package that you could just easily deliver, which I think is the magic of podcasts.
Yes. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's definitely what we would want to be doing.
Exactly. So who else is in the studio? We haven't even introduced your magical guest.
Well, that's we were taking in as a surprise here. So the first episode, no other than our guest speaker here, Denise here, my lovely and wonderful support wife, mom, and girl boss.
Hi. Hi.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
What do you think here so far?
Awesome. It's exciting.
It's a big change to what we've been doing. So we've been, grinding at the office her and I together. I've been about 18 years now. We've been working on this business, and now taking it to this platform, which is completely different than what we're used to doing 9 to 5.
Are you a fish out of water right now?
Oh, we are flopping big time.
No, you guys are succeeding really well right now. You're doing much better. To preface, some people aren't. They don't know what to expect when they get in front of a mic. But you guys are doing super. And Denise is still kind of like blushing, and she's having a good time. But this is her first episode.
Normal. This is her first. This every day.
She is going to. I'm telling you, she's going to break out of this little shell, whatever she's pretending she's in right now. And she's going to be like, she's just going to go ahead and just like out. She's going to be a diva. You know it. She's going to be a podcast diva. She's going to want her own show, and then she's going to get all her, girl diva, girl boss. guest on here as well, and I know she's going to be a rock star.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's exactly why we wanted to bring her on to the first show. I couldn't do this, without Space Coast Podcast and your ability to give us this mic and give us this platform to talk about. But I wouldn't want it to be anybody else in this seat next to me from day one. Yep. So I'm blessed to have you here, even though there was a lot of tugging and pulling. We can do this. But I'm grateful that you're here because you've been here next to me and the companies, forever. So I want to talk to you about just getting to. I want everybody kind of sees me a lot of times as the face of the fix and stuff like that, but there's always Denise here. Denise has always been there. Maybe a little shy in the background, but now coming out into the front where she actually runs the entire flow of the office and and all the great team members that we have there.
And for people who don't know, why don't we start with what the fix is and what you have done? Because I know when you guys start embellishing on that story,
right,
you have a lot to share. So let's kind of since this is the first episode, let's kind of dive into how it all started.
Yeah. So I've been, I'm been a soft tissue therapist. Went to school for natural health and been practicing that way for many years, and we've developed some really cool techniques. Our approach is different, so this podcast kind of really came developing through those years of experience of working with people. And the number one thing I've worked for chiropractors, doctors, hospitals, designed hospital programs, athletic teams, college teams, sports teams. We see pro athletes, we see weekend warriors, and we see people who just need to get out of pain. We help people do that fast from all the years of experience. And the number one thing that we do the most is just change the mindset. I believe that working through the body is the quickest way to the mind. A relaxed body is a quiet mind, and sometimes we just can't find that in out there. So we want to do that. So this podcast is supposed to be helping people that way and coaching them into be able to just get back on path to what they're truly looking for in life, easier ways. And that's how we help people in the office. They come to us when they're at their absolute worst in pain, and all they see is red. They see that when you have a hammer, every problem's a nail. So we want to help them understand that it could be used in different ways, and to associate where this pain is coming from, make sense of it, make it to where, is this a problem that needs extra care?
Right.
Do you need to take an MRI? Do you need these extra things?
Sure.
And move on. So, and that's what we've been doing there at the Fix. So that's been a crazy ride and expanding that way.
Yeah.
And I think, if we were to paint a picture of the clinic, name some of the other amenities and modalities that you incorporate.
So when you walk in the door, you're greeted by the lovely Denise.
Yes.
or
Michael. Yeah, Michael we have.
And that amazing desk that we had.
Yes. We just had a new desk put in. It's beautiful.
Yes.
We have amazing therapists, John, Chance, and Sarah, that provide the hands-on soft tissue therapy. We have a chiropractor, Dr. Hansen, who's in our location.
Wow, grateful to have him there.
We have infrared light therapy and infrared sauna treatments, a hyperbaric chamber.
And then our new MD coming in.
Yep, we have a new medical marijuana doctor coming in soon.
He's there.
Now.
We're starting to take appointments for him.
Right.
Cool.
So that's something we can be reached for. Just a giant, I don't know what the word is, but just an amazing group of things that you can help fix yourself. There's been many times where I've had issues like neck issues or back issues where I'm grateful that I have this available to me. And it's cheap. It's not expensive. So in the cases where I've had issues, if I've gone to the doctor, it would have been surgery or pain medicine, and it's not going to work. So
right. Well, that's not always the solution, but that's
and a lot of people just don't know and understand.
That's kind of what this is about.
Because it's more of a holistic thing, and that's just not like my mom is one of the worst. She's a retired nurse, So for her, it's hard to get her to understand how the treatments we offer can help other than going to a doctor and getting a prescription or an x-ray or, or just whatever. But so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's mindset. We're conditioned to, you got pain, go this way, go that route. And it's amazing when we, like we were saying earlier, usually we're we're working towards becoming the first call versus the last call.
Sure.
Where
we want to be on that list of when you have no money, we are a priority on your list, not let's get rid of that.
Right.
To not spend. We want, and we have people that do that. We have people that come from out of state that book their appointments before they get on their flights. So
that's incredible.
Cool. It is incredible awesome. What we've been doing and helping change lives with our hands there. But now we want to kind of transition into this, sharing it beyond the table,
right? And
teaching people the methods that we are doing in there. We're really just coaching the body. We're coaching you and helping you understand your posture, where it's coming from, why is it there, how long has it been there, what's your association to it, how you're moving. What we say this a lot is that your muscles are emotional sponges, and the way you move is the way you act.
I like that.
If you're not moving, you're not living. So, like today we wanted to talk to a lot about change.
Right.
And where's change come from? Because it's not just a thought, but it's the thought of the action and then the movement of it, the continued practice of change. And that's what I wanted to talk to Denise about today, is more of change and where does it come from? How does it get there? And I think a good start is to change on topic of being what most, I would say, moms are the best at, right? They, without even knowing it, they go through change in a way that you can barely describe it. So that's where we want to kind of get into a little bit of that, where tell us more about how a mom goes through change, and we'll talk more about other stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Let's start that topic as soon as we come back from this message from our sponsors. So, listeners, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. More to come with Denise and John with the topic of change coming up.
Well, there's the X. I guess I'll sign right here.
Stop! Did you even read it?
No, I usually don't.
How many pages is that?
Like 20?
You could be giving away your firstborn son in that contract.
That's a pretty good point. I don't want to do that.
Or that's a lease, right? You could be giving your landlord rights to have their Fat Uncle Joe come and use your coffee maker whenever they want.
Uncle Joe's fine, but not Fat Uncle Joe.
Yeah, not that one.
Well, it's just a lot of legal information. I don't really know it. Who could I go for this?
Well, that's exactly why we have Blake Stewart at Stewart Law. He specializes in business, contracts, and construction law, and he has negotiated low prices for contract reviews, just for cases like this. Check him out on Facebook, Stewart Law CS.
Or on the web at stewartlawcs.com.
Or give me a call at 321-541-6845. A lot of people want to know what the paper clinic is. And honestly, the paper clinic is a lot of things. It's a collaborative space where you can come and bounce ideas off other professionals. You can get advice from professionals in the field. You can get legal advice, insurance advice, and you can be the expert. You can advise people as to things that you know about. But the paper clinic's a lot more than that. When the paper clinic works together, it becomes a one-stop shop for anybody who wants to start a business. You can walk right in one door of the paper clinic, and you can get your business formed, you can get your business insured, you can get a tax plan, you can get marketing, and you can walk right out the other side of the paper clinic with a turnkey business. The Paper Clinic. Big firm resources for the small business. Check us out on the web, thepaperclinic.com, or on Facebook at The Paper Clinic.
You're listening to the Space Coast Podcast Network. If you'd like to be featured as a guest or sponsor, or even host your own show, please email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. That is spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Live Life Aware podcast. When we went on break, we were talking about change. We're going to start that, and I've got some expert advice from somebody who knows change better than I know anybody else that knows it. Just because you've experienced it, and that's what that's what moms go through, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, I think we need to put you guys on a pedestal and let you know, because there's all kinds of courses you can take out there. You can listen to endless stuff on YouTube about change and how to make your mindset. But when you become a mother, you go through a change that you can't. That I probably couldn't. I couldn't explain. I never went through an experience like that. So I think that is something that people need to hear on how moms do that. So let's hear it, Denise.
So I'll start. John and I have 3 children.
Yeah.
14, 11, almost 12, and an almost 4-year-old little girl.
Right.
I was married before and had Jacob, and John and I got together when he was a year. So John's been around for his whole life. I didn't start running the company with him for years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just a stay-at-home mom. I did manage a clothing store for a short time for another company, but then I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and then I came into the office before we had JB. So a lot of people don't realize, like, running a company with your husband or wife is difficult because you don't know the cutoff of when you shut business down and go home and be your married couple. And parents to the kids and enjoy the time with your family and not have to worry about the business. That's something different that we deal with, and a lot of people don't get it.
I don't know how we do that a lot.
It's very difficult. It's hard.
It's hard.
You just, as a mom, for me, and I try to explain this to people, I have my schedule on my brain, plus I have the kids' schedules, plus I have John's schedules and the people who work at our office's schedules. So I have a lot of people that I have to keep track of and a lot of schedules, and so I don't always have that person there for me to keep me on my schedule. So I got to do that too. And it's a horrible feeling when you let something fail and you just feel like, you just failed, especially when you have so much on your plate, and that's where change comes in. I got to constantly, every day, wake up with a new mindset, and it's been a struggle lately, but we're going to get through, It's just what you got to do. When you run a company and you have a family, our kids depend on us, and we depend on us, and our therapists depend on us. So.
How do you manage? Like, how do you organize all that? Is there a book that you're using? Is there a certain app that every mom needs?
Facebook. I write everything down. I write a lot of stuff down.
Right,
I have notebooks and notebooks of written stuff.
So that's a tip. That's something that you do.
Yeah.
I think you don't put a lot of. I think a lot of times you see like all the things that you didn't meet that day, I didn't. I have 10 things on my list of things that get done. And you beat yourself off for the 8 and 7, 8, and 9 that didn't get accomplished, and not celebrate the ones before that, and all the stuff that has happened up until this point. So that's where I think you've really got to kind of work those celebrating those things versus seeing like, oh, I missed.
Right.
I didn't call
and
so-and-so.
there's times, there's a lot of times where I've been that way, where it's been, I accomplished one of the things on my 10 things to do today. And it's a great feeling, but there's a lot of times where when you don't accomplish those other 9 things, that you just get down on yourself, and I have a hard time asking for help and delegating. I just want to get it all done on myself because I know I do it right, and that's just the way it goes. So ask anyone that lives with me.
So what about before Jacob, before all that? Were you the same way?
No.
Or did you change?
Yeah, I was 21 when I had him, so
Right.
I was
so
a completely different person.
I don't think a lot of the listeners and people know that Denise and we'd known each other since 6th grade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we
So-
went to Creel.
So I my life growing up, I bounced from California. I was born in California, moved to Florida, back to California, and then like 3 times we've done this move.
Wow.
And I know she's her back. Because we're backgrounds are different, our mindsets are different, everything.
Yeah.
But we literally we grew up in the same neighborhood since 6th grade. We went to elementary, one year in elementary, junior high, high school, and so we've known each other a lot. But we weren't together until after a long time. But
Yeah.
we've always been together. We've known each other. So
So it's tough, but we have a great partnership. We do good together. We struggle with things that we need to communicate better on, but we do
definitely.
really well together when we work hard together.
I think we're a good balance.
There's just a lot of butting heads. It's always going to be that way, though, because we're very strong-minded, both of us. So it's just I'm great. As many days as I can wake up and just be down and not want to go, I'm grateful. We have healthy kids. We have a successful business that we've really put blood, sweat, and tears into building.
Yeah.
And that just is a constant reminder every day to keep thinking of that. It's tough, though. It's
Well,
tough.
it's
It's
as tough
but
as
it's
we-
fun. I love it.
I
I
think-
wouldn't trade it for the world.
I mean,
so.
even just the whole getting here today and doing something out of our comfort zone is tough. But
Sure.
we just ended that first segment and high-fived and feel a little better about it, and kind of want to getting excited about I'm already thinking of the next thing.
I
know. So that's the way my mind goes. And I know,
Yeah.
Denise will kind of
That's a
drive me right back and go,
struggle. Yeah,
okay, let's
I
get
know
the first
those
episode
who
done.
those who know John know that he is happy to hear any business opportunity there is out there.
Well,
it's
and-
exhausting, but there are some where it's good, and there's just times, and I feel like that. Did you watch the Hill House show? Haunted?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a scene
My
where
wife
she
made me.
says that. Oh, it's the best. I love it. It's my
It was
favorite. She says that she's like the kite, and he's the one holding her down.
And the
There's a
string,
scene,
right. Yeah.
And that's how I feel sometimes we are. Like,
It's like, that's
but
cool. I
in
don't
the
remember
opposite,
that.
it could be opposite anytime. Like, I feel sometimes in the things I think of, I could be floating off into space. A lot of times it's John. Most of the time it's John, and I'm trying to pull him back down to ground. But just reminded me of us, and that's just how I'm sure, husband and wife running a company is. We're
Well,
not
that's
the
the
only
thing,
ones
it's
out
a-
there, and I know that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So, the thing is, it's like being a parent didn't come with the kids didn't come with a manual.
Right.
And it's sometimes you go, oh, are we doing this right? Is this the right way of doing this? I don't know.
And any mom out there knows that, the dads are in the picture if they're good, So he comes home every night and he's there a lot, and we do things with the kids, but the moms always feel the more pressure to make sure everything's on track for the husband and the kids. So it's not just, just me taking care of myself and the kids. Like, I'm constantly trying, and it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Well, that's
You're doing a good job at
Yeah.
it.
that's what we want to hear. Though.
It's a lot of having to figure out the balance, and that's where I'm struggling, is to find balance and how to run the company and be an authority figure there for adults, and then come home and be an authority figure for a bunch of kids who are learning things. And we've got two teenagers, one who's older than the other.
Right.
And so we're struggling with that, and anybody with teenagers knows. And we have a young daughter who's a mouthy little thing, just like her mom.
But they
She's
are
so-
awesome.
She's so sweet.
Right, but she's adorable and she's cute. She smiles at you and you forget about all of it. But it's hard. It's hard to struggle all of that, and you just, whenever you've got to, I feel like now what it is that I have so many things I have to juggle, and the authority isn't there. So when I say I need something done, I've got my kids telling me no, I've got other people telling me no, or nobody's following the direction. So it's just constantly ugh. but it'll get there.
Yeah, well, that's
Just gotta look forward to it.
But that's what we want to talk about is the change that needs to happen to get there.
Right.
The mindset, and where there's pain, there's loss. That's what Tony Robbins would be a great example of that. He does huge seminars on that, where if any situation there's pain, there's usually loss. So, when you're feeling those particular issues in the body or in the mind or frustrations within, or you lash out, and we all kind of lash out at each other sometimes, and to kind of sit back and go, okay, where's that coming from? Where's the pain of this situation? So where's there's loss in that one? So I think that's where we've got to work hugely together, and kind of knowing, okay, well, there's a funk going on this way, or I'm in a funk, and we've got that's really where I think what's got us through a lot of stuff is just that balance, and the mindset of living life aware to go and recognize it right away when we are kind of like, okay, there's a funk going on,
Right.
Yeah, because
and how can we help each other work through this and not work against each other? The kids work against us, and things that happen to where like, oh well, I don't mind if they do that, but you do.
Sure.
But we've done really good with that, though. I would have
lately,
to say.
we've
with the we've always been good with parenting.
Yeah, I just go, did your mom say that?
Yeah.
I'm not
He always
make
says,
sure.
"Go ask your mom." Smart guy. We're teaching awareness on the body. Well, they're teaching awareness on the body. I'm there, and I know everyone, the clients, which is great. So I don't do the muscular therapy part, but
you could. If
we're also teaching awareness on knowing. We've known each other since 6th grade. We've been married for 12 years, but there's still things that he does that drive me nuts. There's still things I do that drive him nuts. There's just ways to learn how to adapt and be aware. I'm struggling right now with certain things that he doesn't understand. So it's part of communicating and that change that, we're getting older. So nothing's like it was back in the day. So it's hard to, it's just...
Keep going, because I get it. I mean, that's how you create a better change is through communication. And that's where it all comes from, is how even your nonverbals communicate a lot, right? Posture, the way you move, and that's we as trained therapists. I mean, I know Denise does this too, but I have a hard time walking anywhere and seeing, like, I watch people run down the street, and I'm like, oh my God, please just walk.
They wonder why their hip hurts.
Yeah, you're doing it so bad. Or we walk through the store, and I'm like, oh, left hip pain, right hip pain.
Gait analysis.
Everybody gets an instant. I can instantly help somebody.
Learn to walk behind John.
Right? Yeah. And you'll see it, but it also reflects, and we said this earlier in the first segment, was that with emotions, your muscles are emotional sponges, and you can carry it. So that, we're no different. I tend to lean to the left. Denise will tell me, like, she'll go, "What's wrong? Your head is like on your." I have this weird head tilt when I've got a lot of pain going on. So maybe we can talk about
side
that.
Of his brain gets heavy.
That's funny. So when we return, don't go anywhere. More to come from Live Life Aware, John and Denise.
I'm Bibi.
I'm Liliana.
And we are your hosts for Brincando el Charco, the program where we talked about being raised in Puerto Rico and growing up in Puerto Rico and now living here in the States and raising our kids here in the state.
Tune in every week and please follow us on Facebook at Brincando el Charco Podcast.
Boricua está en la luna.
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
You're listening to the Space Coast Podcast Network. If you'd like to be featured as a guest or sponsor or even host your own show, please email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. That is spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Live Life Aware podcast. We're diving deep into change today. How are you doing? So, pretty awesome so far, right? This is pretty fun.
Yeah.
So let's go into what has changed in the last, let's say, 2 years since we moved into this new facility. What had to change to make that happen? Because I mean, I could probably talk forever on that one, but let's hear it from you. What changed on your aspect? Because I think you took on. That's when everything got super intense. Not that it wasn't before, but we were in 9 years in a location inside of a gym that's currently not there. But we were there, and once you hit that kind of like after 3 to 5 years, you're in this like. You're in the groove. You know how to kind of
and
get.
How did we get this much stuff?
Yeah,
like,
you know what? A huge change that like with frustration becomes change too. Right. So tell about some frustrations, like taking home stuff to do. Like what we had to do that was just like, oh my God, this is taking 90% of my life up. And I'm frustrated about this. So now there's got to be change. And I think it's where we're growing a lot in the since this new move. I think we've grown a lot more mature on those particular aspects of, okay, we can't do it this way anymore. This makes no sense because we had moved from one location to another, and that came with a huge amount of different change. And we're still growing. We're still learning how to do it.
So we moved. And it wasn't a notified move. The lease at the gym we were in was up, and we had heard rumors that they were closing and never got a confirmed answer. So John just started looking for a new place.
Yeah, a lot.
Months and months and months of looking. Luckily, we found something. The move was quick. It was very just move one day in the office the next, but we were also moving personally too, which a lot of people didn't see. So that's another thing that.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't even think I realized that.
We moved out of it. So we had moved into a 2-bedroom condo back right before Laura was born, and then found out we were expecting her 6 months after we moved in. So we've got 3 kids. in a 2-bedroom condo. So we stayed there for a little while, but then we had to move. So that happened at the same time we were moving our office. So our personal life and our office life is now flipped upside down.
Yeah, for the last 2.5 years.
Wow.
Almost 3.
Luckily, I have my parents and my in-laws to help with the kids because we've definitely had to use them a lot over the last few years.
Families helped out tremendous.
So that I can be there to help organize everything. But being in this new location, it's been an eye-opener. We've changed a lot of things. I mean, we've only been in there for 2.5 years, and we moved our desk, I can't tell you,
4 times.
One room to another, like 16 times, just because, like, we'll finally get it figured out when we're ready to move out to the next location. That's just tough, moving. I mean,
well, I know one thing happened where we were like, we were taking our laundry home. And getting we would have to take the
linens.
Linen.
So in the gym there was a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we moved, there was no washer and dryer in the new facility, and we didn't want to ask who we had working at the office to take home their own sheets, so we took it home ourselves.
Yeah, it was. Listen, in this office, now we're doing about 500 to 600. That first, patients a month.
Wow.
We're seeing a lot of numbers. And we've been, you know, like Denise said, we went from 9 years in the gym, and we really didn't skip a beat. Chance and I and Sarah was working in the office while Chance and I and Denise were kind of moving the office. We went from sign the lease on Tuesday, move in on Wednesday, chains on the door at our old location on Friday, and we haven't stopped since. And we've been kind of like just figuring out as we go.
The biggest problem we had was moving the phones. That was it.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, phones.
We just didn't have phones for people to reach us, but we still had full schedule.
And, you know, but
That's a blessing.
I'm
in
not complaining about that.
our own location was a huge change for
Right.
us, and I think it still is. It's still like that.
It
No,
is.
there's a
It's-
groove now going that is just,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, we had
phenomenal.
moments where our Spectrum would get shut off because I forgot to have it set up because we didn't pay a Spectrum bill at the other location. So we had all these bills added on that just we weren't used to.
Right.
So we would show up at the office, internet would be down. I'm freaking out. The money's there. It just didn't get set up to get paid. And everyone's looking at us like, what's the problem? So there's a lot of those things that just people don't think about. I mean, on the personal side and the business side, we've got stuff coming out constantly, money-wise. So I was just having to control that, plus 5 people's laundry on top of all of the sheets we were doing. There's a lot of stuff.
So what did we do to salute, you know?
We paid and had a plumber come in, and we put a washer and dryer in the office.
Amen.
Yeah, we had 2 bathrooms, and we turned
Right.
one into, it's like, now that it's there, and that it's like, how did we
keep
do
up?
that? I don't, you know, like, where did the time, we spent, our whole life was revolving around how much laundry got done the day before, so we had enough to bring home, and it just got done. But we didn't, like, you know, it wasn't a complaint till it became an issue, that it was just, you know, like, I have to now do something out of my circle of happiness. You know? So when I got out of that circle, you know, and that's when I think we find those opportunities of change where you go, I just don't feel right.
And the next day we had a washer and dryer.
Yeah, it was like, that's it. We're making that
It was
happen.
like instant. Yeah.
You know,
Didn't care. I was like, we're spending the money. It's happening.
Yeah. And it's been a blessing, really. It has. We freed up our own time to not spend it on. We still do tons of laundry. But
Of course.
We have 5 people in our house. That's
yeah.
a
Plus
lot of
we
people.
had, so it's been nuts. So that's been
kids that change
a couple
clothes.
huge areas of change, and I think most business owners kind of have that same thing where they go through why are we waking up and doing this,
Right.
and then where it doesn't become fun is where you need to kind of change or delegate and make it to where, okay, well, I don't enjoy doing that anymore, and I can make my life and the people around me a little more productive by this solution, you know. But sometimes if you don't become aware, right, you won't be able to make that change, you know. So I think that's where we've always been good at that. Where what?
Sorry, I just found something I want to say.
Well, let's hear it.
So this is something I think about often, and I know that this is business-wise and not mom stuff, but this is my life as a mom anyway. So it says more than half of small businesses, according to the Small Business Administration, survive for 5 or more years, and a third of them survive for more than 10. And that's something I think about, because you hear it on TV that small businesses don't last very long if they don't. But look how long we've gone, and that's just a really positive thing for me. And I always think about that every day. And I always bring it up to you. Look at all this stuff. And we've been through a lot that people just don't know about. The stuff that we've kept private, and it'll come out eventually. But
it's all coming out.
yeah, there's and it's a good thing to keep, to bring out, because it's struggles that we've been through as a married couple in business, and struggles that a lot of people would never even think that a person could go through. But we've still pulled it up and kept it going.
Yeah,
and that's just something that everyone needs to just keep in mind, is just lift your head, and as hard as it could be to get up every day and just keep doing the same thing.
Well, you have to enjoy it. You have to really find that, like, you know, where I've heard some frustrations, like, is this what we want to do? Is this, and it's, you know what, when you have that, you know, those little ruts, and that's what we kind of want to talk about, is be able to get back on track fast. It's just kind of go, okay, well, you know, that, you know, for me, a lot of times when there's, you know, and it's hard for Denise, for me, when there's a lot of stuff going on, and I've been saying for about, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years now, it's like, I need to get off the table and run the company. But sometimes that working on one person at a time, it's hard to grow that way.
Right.
But when you work on somebody who's, in a lot of pain, and you can just kind of, it almost becomes like this art. You change your mind and you work on somebody and help them, and you go, that's why we are really doing this. Mm-hmm. That passion behind it comes out, and there's nothing else going on besides that time you have with somebody else to give them your all. And then we do no marketing, but they go, and when you help somebody that way, they go and tell others.
Right.
And those others come in, and then they tell that person who referred them, I'm so blessed that you sent me this way. And, I keep always going back to going, wow, that's really what it's about, and how can we help more do that? We're currently, we're really doing well in helping people that way, and looking back and going, wow, this is, sometimes when I'm on the table, because there's overflow right now, it's hard to book with just me.
Right.
But when there's overflow, I'll take it and stuff like that, and it always gets me back on the table, and I'll go, I'm on the table, and then I'm like, but it's so worth it. You
got to rekindle that passion.
Yeah,
you got to remind yourself,
where it all came from.
Exactly.
So it's
get back to your roots.
Yeah. So it's been really exciting that way, and so we got to then also remember why we're doing it together. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my getting back into the roots of where I came from as a therapist, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, but then doing it on a family life. And for a lot of people, like, well, how do you balance, like we're talking about today, is how you balance it,
right?
And how do you make changes? And for me personally, I think it's not a balance. I don't see a big difference in life, family, business. It's all kind of,
it's all
one big circle of fun,
right?
And,
I like that.
And if you're not having fun, if I'm with the kids, I'm family man.
Exactly.
If I'm with Denise and we're having fun, then it's like, why does it have to be this huge separation of,
right.
Okay, well, now I've got to turn off from being a boss to being a dad. And it's like, I'm a dad when the kids aren't around too,
Right.
I'm also a business owner when the kids aren't around. So, that's how I see.
It's not like changing hats.
It's not like changing. No,
right. You're just John.
Right.
Yeah.
And John is many
and
things.
And that's where
right.
he and I, because he thinks that it's just such smooth transition. I just am not it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we kind of butt heads that way.
We're completely different in that aspect.
So tell me your view on that, because that's where I think there's a big difference between where we kind of balance each other out, where it's like, well, it's all business. And it's like, no, it's not all business. We do a lot of fun family stuff together.
Yeah.
I know. I want to be a kid of yours. You're always doing all kinds of fun stuff.
I know.
I'm like, man.
That's a good.
Adams family, they're always having so much fun.
We were both brought up in families that did fun stuff growing up, so we're kind of carrying that on. Like, we traveled a lot, both of us as kids, with our parents. So, when I leave the office, I turn it off. That's although I'll be in the kitchen with him at 11 o'clock at night talking about business.
Right.
And I'm the one that initiates it usually. It's just one of those where this man is full force, head driven into the game every day. He wakes up ready to go, happy, smiling every morning, and it's just, I wish I could have that every day.
Well, you do. I'm right next to you.
I know, but myself, and have that feeling, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, shut up! Why are you so happy?
Turn it down.
But I feel like everyone's like that, but him. Nobody else feels that way.
That's why we need change.
Right. So that's, we're a good balance for each other, I think. It's just, that's what it is. I love it. I wouldn't trade what we have, and I always say, I've said it more lately, I feel like I wish I just had a normal 9-to-5 job. Which I don't really. I love when
everything would change then. Our whole way of life.
I appreciate everything we have, and it's just sometimes the hard work is very draining and tiring, and it's just pushing through and making the changes to get through it.
Yeah.
And that's just everybody's got to do that, and no matter how down and tired you are.
But so look 10 years, 15 years back, right? And then go, what we've had to, go through to get where we're doing a podcast and talking about this.
Right.
Look at the evolution of where we've done.
We're badass.
Yeah, we are taking on and
kinda
doing
true.
more.
We're the people to be.
Well, we're what we want to be. What I've always said for LMTs, because I'm a licensed therapist, is to be that lighthouse. Where you go, listen, I don't know which way to go, and I'm not saying what we do is the right way, but I just love the way we do it. Right. So if that's where we want to be, is that lighthouse for people to go. Is there a way? I don't know. Maybe that light there could be the way for you.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it's all about, though. We're opening that door to helping you understand. Look, I can't make somebody better. I can't I can't make a muscle relax. But you know what we can do is help you become aware so you get the choice to do it on your own. And that's what we're doing through the body to the mind, not the mind to the body. So, it's not just on people, but it's in life. If you're not making those choices, if you're not being able to become aware, then you're not growing. You're not being able to see. So if you have a problem, you can't fix it until you're aware you have a problem.
Right.
And a lot of times when you work on the body, you're not aware that's the person you are. We're helping you discover that, I didn't know I was working this hard in my own body. I'm that stiff and rigid and what?
No, John's having a good time. He's like wrap it to the outro.
Right, wrap out.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Jesse, have you ever wondered what is the best way to interview applicants for your open position so you have the best chance of hiring a keeper?
All the time.
Well, I talk to managers every day, Jesse, that use their gut instinct to make a hire. Sometimes that works out, but more times than not, it can lead to a bad hire. Replacing a poor hire can be expensive and hurt morale. One of our most popular service offerings at HR Office Savers is teaching employers how to be better interviewers. Improved interviewing techniques lead to better hiring, which leads to better employee retention, which leads to less turnover and more profit. Contact me today to find out how you can learn to be a better interviewer. I can be reached online at www.hrofficesavers.com or by phone 928-308-4506. Again, that's 928-308-4506. 928-308-4506.
You're listening to the Space Coast Podcast Network. If you'd like to be featured as a guest or sponsor or even host your own show, please email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. That is spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard.
A lot of people want to know what the paper clinic is. And honestly, the paper clinic is a lot of things. It's a collaborative space where you can come and bounce ideas off other professionals. You can get advice from professionals in the field. You can get legal advice, insurance advice, and you can be the expert. You can advise people as to things that you know about. But the paper clinic's a lot more than that. When the paper clinic works together, it becomes a one-stop shop for anybody who wants to start a business. You can walk right in one door of the paper clinic and you can get your business formed, you can get your business insured, you can get a tax plan, you can get marketing, and you can walk right out the other side of the paper clinic with a turnkey business. The Paper Clinic. Big firm resources for the small business. Check us out on the web, thepaperclinic.com, or on Facebook at The Paper Clinic.
Welcome back, everybody, to Live Life Aware podcast, episode 1. We're having fun.
That's right. Segment 4. We got about 8 minutes, I guess, left.
8 minutes?
Yeah. So we
Awesome.
gotta finish with your closing thoughts and
All right.
maybe wrap up this segment with I don't know. You guys want to pretty much kind of just brief and condense the message from today about change with life and work and moving. I mean, just here, in the hot seat as a producer, just listening to everything. There's a lot of things I didn't know about you guys, and I consider you guys are pretty good friends.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea. I do want to say, and I would like to add that, the change happens, with me, and I, was there for the move and all, but John was there as well. So he went through all that too, and has made a lot of changes over the last few years when we've moved our business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we only moved a couple miles up the road, but it's a big change. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
I would never want to choose another person to do this with, though. I can tell you that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I will tell you that. He keeps me on the go. So
That is very sweet.
I don't know where I'd be without him right now.
Oh.
So
Get a tissue, everybody.
Yeah. Oh.
love you, baby.
Yeah, I love you too. Listen, it's been it has been for me, growing, being on a solo therapist, one room in a gym to moving, taking over a spa, and then trying not just being a therapist, but disrupting the industry in the whole. Where we don't do massage. We do muscular therapy, and that's a change. We're trying to program going through school to like, oh, you're a massager,
Right.
and then giving the general public a completely different avenue that wasn't out there.
Right.
So, I mean, the choices that what you do in our office did not exist in this community. Maybe some other therapist is saying it some other way,
Right.
but it didn't exist. We kind of molded into this new type of therapy, and that was a huge change, me personally, because I had to do something that was against the norm. I've always been kind of like going against the norm, but it was actually the best thing we ever did was to just run with that, run as a muscular therapist versus a massage therapist. And it allowed a lot of people to get worked on and experience the power of body work.
Right.
Where it wouldn't have if we just been just basic massage, because there's been a lot of barriers that we broke, a lot of being able to fight those objections of time. We do a 20-minute session, so it fits into your Starbucks time,
Exactly.
So that's not an issue. Anybody can find 20 minutes to get some type of work done, right? If you need it, when you need it, and we all need it.
So, full disclosure, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I am a producer, but I'm also a client of John's, and it was revolutionary because I had been licensed as a therapist. That was like my first career when I was 18.
Shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I worked on cruise ships and down in spas in South Florida, like the Delano and Hyatt Regency on 17th Street in Fort Lauderdale.
Work.
On the cruise ship, I was doing about 9 bodies a day.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Hours, probably.
Oh, yeah, 7 to 7. Yeah, 12
there you
hours.
go.
Yeah. So, no, it was tough, but very rewarding. And luckily, it was, I was of the age, I think I was like 21, 22. So, I mean, I was, I had all the ambition and I had the forearms and the wrist. I think I did get like a repetitive stress syndrome. Thankfully, I never really got carpal tunnel. But I'll tell you what, it was rewarding. But yeah, the traditional fluff and buff,
right?
Okay, in the spa industry,
right?
That Swedish massage where you have to get fully disrobed, and then we drape you professionally, and then we get the nice oils and aromatherapies, and it's a very spa experience with candles and music and the whole thing. And John's like, hop on a table, like no linens, like fully dressed, like leave your shoes on, whatever, let's just go. And I was like, okay. And so for people who don't know his approach, it is unconventional, but the way you manipulate the body.
Oh, it's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, you're not, you're almost like kind of using friction, like, so you're using that pressure through the clothes. You're not really using a nice gliding effleurage. You know, you're using techniques that I think are just to the point. You know, I mean, it's a very no BS kind of approach.
Exactly.
And
exactly. Well, we don't want to. You know, listen. Everybody, you know, could use an hour massage every once in a while. You know, but a lot of times, you know, you don't need to wait a month or two or only on your birthday to get some type of real therapy.
Right.
And that's kind of what we wanted to fill in, those gaps. You know, I was getting really frustrated with because you're in school, you're taught this kind of like business model, which is not a good business model at all. Hey, great session. We did a lot of good work. I'll see you next month.
Right.
I don't want that, you know. But what I got really frustrated in, and that's why we made this change, was to go, okay, well, each time you come in, we work on the same issues over and over and over, and we really never break that pattern.
Right.
And that's where change has got to happen, and that's what we're doing. So I would much rather see somebody come in more frequently in the beginning to help establish that change with you. You know, I didn't know I was turning my left foot out. I didn't know my posture. I really didn't realize how tense I was, and I have not asked my arm to relax in years. When's the last time somebody moved your arm for you, right? Without you telling it to move? Those are things that the body doesn't go through, right? So we help establish that awareness, establish that change, but it needs to be reinforced. It needs that constant kind of, like, even if you came in every other day for a month, then we can really tackle the underlying issues. So that's why this came about, because we wanted to give the ability, you know, in any other medical, we're licensed medical providers, right? I also teach other LMTs as a presenter.
Yeah, tell us about that, because that's brand new.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, and where I'm looking to do more of is coaching, mentoring, consulting other business owners, consulting LMTs, and helping them open an office. When I wish we had what we had now when I was going to school.
Exactly.
So we want to kind of give a new therapist the 20 years of experience out the gate, you know, and establish them into a new type of therapy, a new way of looking at the body, and then maybe even help them into a new office, you know, eventually, once they, you know, if they wanted that. But we're going to be, I've got asked to teach at the national convention for the FSMTA. I'm a keynote speaker there, which is super exciting.
That is amazing.
Year number 2.
Year number 2.
Yes.
And so
it was huge this year.
That's for me. I'm like a massage geek, you know, like that's like oh my God, this is huge, you know.
Of course.
So we also want to venture into more online courses, and not just for therapists. We're getting really high tech too. And bringing in, you know, improving the industry. And right now, biohacking is huge, and I believe we've been leading the charge in this area on that. Infrared sauna, light therapy, hyperbarics. We have a total body vibration plate. These are things that are like, oh, that was, you know, it's highly talked about right now, and we've been doing it for 6-7 years, which is great. Because now we can talk to you about it and bring your awareness to it. But also teaching other therapists on how to bring that into their office as well. You know, and it doesn't have to be a massage. It could be an athletic trainer. It could be anybody who really wants to help somebody. We can help them learn how to do that. And we've got new online booking software, because some of the stuff that's out there is not tailored to the type of business we have. So we've got to kind of work on our own. We're working. Okay. We'll talk about it right this second. But we've got a new program that we're working. That's gonna, you know, it's gonna take some time to get out there.
Right.
It's in the works, and we want to put an app together for it, online training with it, bring other people involved, other therapists to help be providers of it, and we want to do this, you know, fix your swagger.
Cool.
You know, so Fix Your Swagger is going to be a free walking gait analysis with treatments and exercises to give you the awareness of how you move through life. How the number one thing our bodies were designed to do repetitively was walk, right? We're very efficient in walking, or supposed to be.
Right.
And if you're not doing it right, then there's going to be down the road these kind of roadblocks that you're going to run into. And we want to help people kind of learn how to get that swagger back, how to get that walking gait back, and really help people that way, that foundation to do that. So that's something that we're in the works with. But it's not just a treatment. It's a whole process, because to change your gait means we have to change your brain. We have to change your evolution of who you are and what you are, because you can't just that's how you are, right? That's how I walk this way or I walk that way. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just this, if you want to make change in the body, you've got to really kind of, change habits or create better ones,
right.
So that's something we're working on, integrating websites and online courses and affiliate programs. And we're looking to do a lot more video content. I think we're slacking on that aspect.
Yeah, but we don't. Yeah, our goal with not doing video is because we don't want to tell people our secrets.
Yeah,
fair enough.
We'll just say that. That's a good word.
Yeah.
So, what's your website, John?
The website, our website, thefixtherapy.com. That's how you get a hold of our. If you want, therapy. If you want to talk to us about the podcast, we're gonna be working on. We have the livelifeawarepodcast.com. It's in the works, but you could go to it right now. It's not finished, but we are definitely be promoting that one, and the fixtherapy.com. That's the easiest way to kind of know more about us, and it's going to get an upgrade as well.
So tell people real quick before we start to say goodbye about some of the therapies. Once again, just quick remind, because you do have like a Swedish option at the Fix. You do have like relaxation stuff, but you also have the chiropractic. You have
we
do offer the typical Swedish massage.
Yeah,
we
it's
do.
it's more
I'll
like
answer that for you, because I know you don't like to do those sessions.
Yeah,
but we have that.
We have. Listen, if you have a soft tissue issue, we have something that
we
helps
have the
you
tissue.
The Fix is there for you.
Yeah, we handle all soft tissue issues. That's our specialty. But now we also have a chiropractor.
Exactly.
That's in it. Dr. Hansen's amazing. He's got like 35 years of experience. He's activator proficient. If you want to know what that means, and just check it out on our, call him up and talk to him about it. He is amazing. We are now bringing in where you can come in and get your recommendation for your medical marijuana card.
Wow.
We're one of the only offices.
And that's like brand new.
That's like this week brand new.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. There's some really good initial visit specials that we're going to be running.
I do want to clarify the medical marijuana card recommendations. It's very easy, and it's not as hard as people think.
Yeah.
And the support's there at the office for you.
Yes,
so,
just call
we know
and
how to
ask.
do everything that you need to do to get that. So.
Yeah, and it's not something you're coming to talk to a doctor.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
It's a conversation with a doctor. If you get a coach, just make it simple, make it easy. It's as simple as that. And, we're really happy about that. I believe that's something that is integrated health is the way to go. And, that's, I would rather see that than a lot of the other epidemics that are happening out there with
opioids is not a
scary.
Well, it shouldn't be an option anymore.
Right.
For someone to get that heavy of a narcotic just for something like pain relief makes no sense, because there's so many other alternatives.
Right. So that's where we feel happy about being a part of that.
Right.
And it's it's something that's new to our office, and we're going to do our best to run with it as much as we can. So that's now something that we've never even thought. We never thought a year ago we'd even be in that market. So we're super excited about that. We're still learning it. What else? So we do cupping therapy. That's a really neat technique that a lot of people aren't doing.
I could vouch for that. Athletic cupping. It's amazing.
Yes.
So big event this weekend on Sunday, November 25th. We are the official therapist for the Space Coast Marathon. The 7,000 runners going to be at this.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is intense.
Sunday. It's always the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Like I said earlier, I'm a presenter, right? So I can qualify every 2 years as a medical provider by the state of Florida. We have to do 24 CEUs within 2 years.
Right.
12 of those 24 have to be in a live setting. So we are offering any LLMT out there in the state of Florida, because that's where I'm at. I'm not national yet. So in the state of Florida, to register at our website. Find us on the Facebook, Fix Therapy, Facebook site, and register for that event. And come out there. We're giving 8 free CEUs towards their renewal license to come out towards the Space Coast Marathon. We need that. We don't see enough. There's not enough of us than there are runners, and we feel bad. Poor Denise is out there. She's the one with the clipboard,
right?
And they're like, "Listen, I'm sorry,
names,
but
I get yelled at from people.
We're maxed out. There's 52 people on this list.
There's a 2-hour wait.
Right.
The best is when the beer tent is next to us and they offer me a beer. Can you move me to the front of the line? I'll bring you a beer.
May help. There's a tip. But it's an amazing event. We've been doing this event for 7 years.
Wow, that's commitment.
It's huge. We enjoy it every year. It's fun. It's been our Sunday after Thanksgiving for the last 7 years. And this year we're looking to do better for the runners. We want to have more LMTs out there.
So what's your goal for LMTs? So people out there
we
listening?
would like at least 20 to 25.
Wow. Okay. So
we're probably at 10 to 15 now, if that. Because they went on and registered doesn't mean they're going to show up.
Exactly. Calling all therapists.
I think it's going to be a fun event. It's going to be awesome and a lot of learning. And I'm really looking forward to the next podcast, too. We're going to be doing this, I think, every second Tuesday of the month, I think we talked about.
Yeah. So I think we're on track. Is it the second?
Today's Monday.
Yeah, today's Monday.
I think it's the third Monday of every month. I think that's what it was going to be. That's why it's 19th. That's right. Every third Monday.
So only once a month?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I was kind of. I didn't.
I know you were apprehensive. We were supposed to do this like 30 days ago.
But we could probably do this once a week if we needed. Yeah.
Because we're at, and you guys may be surprised at this, but we're actually at like the 68th minute right now.
Yeah, I'm watching the time.
Yeah, so you guys, I mean, who knew that you guys would be comfortable going over and over the allotted time and still having so much to share? So
yeah, there's a lot.
So
I'm ready.
So why don't you guys say goodbye and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's awesome.